All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of Masters Monday. I am Hyper. I'm going to be play-by-play casting for y'all tonight with my buddy Goferino. As always, how are you doing, my friend?
Already. It's been a cold day here, which is pretty surprising. It's been really warm recently, and today is just cold. But
Speaking of
chilly,
cold,
yeah.
look
Speaking of
at the
forced transitions
jungle.
here.
Oh wow! I mean, I would consider that pretty cold. It is going to be Big Chill Demolishers versus Lane Zero Maelstrom tonight, and both of them target banning the junglers coming out the gate. I do got to say, if you look at both players' match history, let me tell you, Joker's got like 100 games on Velvet split already. Like that's kind of ridiculous. And Stallion's been putting up some great numbers on the Viego as well. But Leona and Smolder Band's definitely going to be targeted at that bot lane. Did exceptionally well last week. Bondi going 12-1 on that Smolder, which I do got to say is pretty impressive considering that champ is easily gankable in the early game.
Yeah, well, but also really overpowered. Did have to get some hotfix nerfs actually, because turns out that Smolder was just coming online a little too early. But the Karma is going to be left open. That's going to be instantly snagged up here by the Bing Lingers. That is a 2/3-way flex. Don't really see the top lane Karma too much anymore, but it is something to keep in the back of your mind. Something that just hard spikes so hard on that one item. Kind of uninteractive to deal with in the mid lane because with the Malignance, you just Mantra Q. That's a lot of poke. You also just clear waves pretty nicely, unless you just respond around the map. Maokai being hovered, though, the other huge prow pick right now.
I do like the Maokai pickup. I mean, you're staring down a Karma. That, like you said, that one item spike on Malignus is kind of disgusting. You kind of turn that early lane phase that you spent all game trying to establish as the other opponent, and then 5 minutes of the game you just lose all lane because Malignus exists. But Wei locked in. Don't see a lot of Weis coming in. So Wei gonna be locked in for the mid lane for lane 0, and bot lane established for Big Chillers with that Kai'Sa and Nautilus locked in. I love this combination. So good.
Yeah, you have the Nautilus to let you stack up that plasma very efficiently as this Kai'Sa, who has found a new build. I believe it's the Eclipse into Nashers right now, but I think there are a couple other variations going around. Either way, though, Eclipse, kind of a strong item right now. Kai'Sa abuses it really hard. The Sivir going to be picked up in response, can neutralize that to an extent with the spell shield, and then just be able to outwave clear that ADC.
I like how you brought up the wave clear, because Kai'Sa definitely wants to be kind of aggressive after she gets level 3, level 4, wants to play a little bit aggressive. But it's going to be really hard for Kai'Sa to play aggressive if she's constantly stuck under tower, because Sivir just, as soon as she hits like level 5, she can instantly clear a wave with 2 abilities.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have the Jin Zhao taken away along with Emilio and the J4. A lot of engaged junglers being taken off the table for the side of Big Chillers, which I do got to say is pretty good if you're lane 0, because their jungler loves his engaged. Diana, Jin Zhao, obviously not available anymore. The Bel'Veth, the Jax, like these are all champs that want to go into your face. And now that we're taking them off the table, it kind of lowers his champ pool a little bit. So I'm curious to see what he decides to go, considering what he's already have with his team to work with.
Yeah, technically the Maokai is still on the table here. You already locked that in, and that is strong engage. However, Lee Sin being locked in, that kind of more or less confirms that this is the Maokai support going on in that bot lane. I will give you some nice early game here, see if you're able to establish any control using this Lee Sin, because the Hui and Sivir do scale up nicely themselves here, so if you're able to get that bridge from the early to late game, this Lee Sin is going to be the way to go. Ornn being picked here, though, for the Bing Lingers, it means a lot of their damage right now is on this Kai'Sa, because the Karma, even though the poke is strong, you only really have that one ability, so the damage falls off later in the game, because naturally you only really have one damage ability for fights. We'll see if a carry jungler gets picked up here. Just augment your damage profile. That is an option.
I mean, expect him to pick up a carry jungler here. I would like to see something like a Volibear, but we're going to go with a Vi. I do like the Vi. Its Energize is really nice with the rest of their team, lacking kind of like a hard engage, and with Vi's ultimate kind of just jump on the ADC and basically nuke them. Provides that hard engage that they desperately needed. But look at the front line. That big chiller's got just a brick wall. Get to Kaisa, I dare you.
Yeah, the Vi definitely gives them some nice instant lockdown here. I mean, you already have the Nautilus with the death charge, but the Vi can be a little sus into the Sever because the spell shield is really easy against the Assault and Battery. So we'll see how that works out. Top lane, though, the Renekton into the Ornn. I know the Renekton's kind of the new hotness right now in the top lane after the recent buffs, but into Ornn, you just tend to struggle because that Ornn gets so tanky and you just can't really do too much to pressure the lane.
Well, I mean, Renekton does give a lot of top lane prio, and with the new season, the new meta with the kind of revolving around the top lane early game for the grubs, like Renekton does provide really good pressure in the top lane. It like can easily 1v1 Ornn, chunk him out of lane, level 2, level 3 spikes. So I like the Renekton pickup. Definitely situated to the early game style of how the meta shifted, where we're focusing on the top side of the map. So I do like the Renekton.
Yeah. It will definitely give you some nice early game here to pair with the Lee Sin. That is a very strong 2v2 in the top side. And of course, you have the scaling factor in the Sivir and the Hui here. We'll just have to see how it works out here, because like I mentioned, it does fall off in the Ornn matchup. You really don't have the pressure to just get the mountain goat out of your lane, so to speak.
The mountain goat.
He's kind of like part mountain goat, part... He's a lot of things.
He's a lot of things. I mean, but looking at the rest of the comp for Lane Zero, they're not really locking Renekton in for the entire like late game carry. You've mentioned it. I mean, Wei and Sivir scale really nicely. I mean, Wei scales a whole lot better than Sivir, but still in the context of everything, you know, you use that Renekton to carry your team to the mid to late game, and then Sivir and Wei kind of just take it from there. But you mentioned something about the Eclipse that I wanted to hit on real fast. I feel like Eclipse is the new busted item the way Trinity Force was last season. Like, if you can build Eclipse and be viable, then just build it. I thought it was like, I never even thought about building Eclipse on Kaisa until you mentioned the the Eclipse Nashor's Tooth route. I imagine you would want to go Hail of Blades personally, but probably still want to go with the Lethal Temple route. Who knows?
I think Hail of Blades is the standard. We'll see. Both are fine options, but yeah, Hail of Blades definitely helps you a lot more in lane. Lethal Tempo more so for those team fights. Hail of Blades can also help you get some assassinations with the quick plasma procs. So
yep,
a little bit of personal preference.
We talked a little bit about the individual lanes on what we expect, but how do you predict the overall, like, when we finally meet, 5v5 in the river, like, how should these team fights, like, who really has the advantage just from the champs themselves?
In terms of pure 5v5, I want to say both these teams are relatively equal. It does depend a little bit on what stage of the game we're in, because I feel like the Bing Chi Langers, if there's a 5v5 early on, you definitely have much more pop. If you're on one item, the Bing Chi Langers comp does pretty damn solid. We're talking like 2 or 3 items, maybe a Lane Zero, much more favored there. It's kind of hard to call out here.
Okay.
Biggest thing I'm watching for is both these junglers, since Vi and Lee Sin, very proactive junglers. Vi, of course, can power farm to 6, but you still do have the Vault Breaker Q, which lets you get some nice early ganks off. And that's what I'm thinking is going to really just influence how this game goes, where the junglers really want to go in the early game and where they want to get snowballing.
Like, Vi is going to want to try to focus a little bit more on the bot side of the map, because, Vi does do damage in the late game, but really it looks like for the side of Big Chillers, they kind of put all of their eggs in one basket into the Kaisa damage. Youngland did a really good job last week. Unfortunately, they did end up losing the overall series, going 1-2. But he still put on a really great performance overall. But we talked about it before the Vi got locked in. You're kind of putting all your damage onto the Kai'Sa, so I'm a little worried in that aspect because if Vi can't accelerate herself or the Kai'Sa, then it's gonna look the game's gonna get really, really hard. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, is just that aspect alone.
Yeah, especially playing Vi into Sever, who just spell shields your ultimate for the most part in team fights. It is very tricky to deal with, so Big Two learners definitely want to get themselves a little bit of an early lead here. See if they can grab that here.
Well, I guess we will see. We are almost done with spectator delay, so you guys, we're going to go on a short little break, and when we come back, we will watch Lane 0 Maelstrom up against Big Chiller's Ðemolishers. I had to look at the name. It is gonna be those two teams facing off here on the Rift this week, and without further ado, we will see when we get there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rift. Sorry about the delay. We had a momentary pause right off the gate. Turns out you go to the restroom before we start games, so that your friends don't have to suffer in the pause timer. But we are finally here on the Rift. I'm pretty excited about this game, not gonna lie.
Excited? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Should be a good one tonight.
I really hope so. For two reasons: A, it'll cap off my really good day, and then B, because I'm really glad we decided to hover over Bondi right there, because Bondi is kind of cracked. So I was checking out the stats. I will get back to that here in a second. All right, we're just laying some early vision. I like it. But I was checking out the stats already, and just to see on week 1 where everybody was at, and Bondi is top 5 in 5 different categories, placing first in damage per minute.
To be fair,
it's only 1 week.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm not crazy. I understand that, but that's still crazy. 5 categories, top 5.
Yeah, and I believe they had a 3-game series last week.
They only had a 2-game.
Did they only have a 2-game series?
Lane Zero only had a 2-game series last week. They went 2-0 versus in their match, and Big Chillers went 1-2, and really heavy trading going on.
Yeah, it was the Bing Chillers who went to 3 games. But yes. See if they're able to rebound this week. Bing Chillers want to be starting off the season 0-2.
They should be able to bounce back. That last game was very close. Only, like, really, really close. One of those games that, you know, if we, you know, rotated to the objective fast enough kind of games, we would have won. So I think we're gonna have a really good matchup this week. But I do gotta say, Lane Zero's already getting prio in the top lane and in the bot lane. So it's gonna make it really hard for this Lee Sin to find a lane to gank.
Yeah. Also, I assume it was NA Stallion who placed that deep red ward up on the top side of the map there to just spot any ganks that might be coming out from Joker early on. There's another deep ward too by the Raptors that just expired.
I think Arthur, the top laner, placed that ward deep into the jungle on the blue side because. Yeah, I had to check that. But we already got Joker throwing a Volt Punch. Lee Sin is down here for the return. Really nice flash back. And a first blood going right over to Bondi, picking up that kill, looking for another one. Oreo getting chased down, gets the kill, gets the double kill, flashing out of the turret range, looking for a third. That twisted advance, pops the cleanse, gets the kill, and Lee Sin claims the gold. What a start to this game.
Man, okay, Joker got read like a book there, or both junglers just happened to be on the right side of the map at the right time there. Joker missing the Volt Punch over the wall, like you mentioned there, Hyper. And it cost them dearly because the instant twisted advance coming out from Brash there to lock down that Vi. Flash all you want, but Lee Sin here for Stallion, very mobile, what with the Resonating Strike. And that's going to be an easy 3-1 there. Yes, he gave up 1 in the end. I'll hold that thought.
Ooh, Oreo going to use that X-Flash, but just going to get pinched right here because the Stallion has made his way up. Really nice dredge line, kind of stalling out time right now. Griffin very low, but it doesn't matter now. Stallion up on the board. 2-0. And 100% kill participation. How many junglers can say that?
Yeah. To be fair, all the kills were off of 2 ganks there, and 2 great counter ganks coming through here for Stallion. They sniffed out that roam coming up from Oreo Murder, and because Oreo Murderer used their flash in that last lane scuffle. Oh, on that thought, Brash has the flank here, double buffs here on the Sivir as well for Bondi.
Really nice twisted advance onto Youngling right there, pushing him back into Bondi. But Oreo coming up in the lane, hits the dredge line, not able to secure a kill, but definitely chunks out the ADC for Big Chillers. They definitely ain't Big Chillin' right now.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, because it's just a 3-kill deficit early game. I want to see what this translates to in terms of objectives. You can see the grabbies have already been started up here by Stallion on that top side. Should be able to do them eventually here. Lee Sin, not the fastest at taking them. Was spotted out potentially by that Scuttle taking the top side of the map. I don't know if they use the Reasoning straight to hop over that wall and stay undetected or not, but that's 1 grub down, 2 grubs down. Should be all 3 here, considering Joker's on the other side of the map. We'll see if Joker's able to get anything in return here. But how low Younglin is, though, as this Kai'Sa ganking bot might be pretty.
I mean, I understand why he has to stay right here in lane. I do like what Joker's doing, channeling the back, kind of just hovering at the moment. But he has to stay in lane because he has to catch this cannon wave before he can take it back. Because if he backed on that cannon wave, he would just lose so much gold in XP. But we're going to have a 3-man gank here on the top side, flashing, coming out of Void. But the ultimate coming out of Griffin is going to lock him down, and he is taken out.
That's a 5th kill here. 4 lane 0 showing off, I guess, the lane dominance.
Yeah. I like it.
There's no other way to say it. They're like they're dominating the lanes right now.
Yeah.
Granted,
yeah.
a lot of it's based off of jungle ganks and homes, so not necessarily you dominating in the lane, more so their lanes just have to be dominating against the team. But hey, 5-1. You got the first 3 grubs. Dragon's still up, so that wasn't taken in response. You're feeling fine and dandy.
I mean, I love how you say that, you know, they're up 5-1, but all of those kills coming off of jungler ganks. So Stallion definitely putting his mark on the map right now. You talked about it during the draft phase, how this game's really going to get determined by how the junglers play this map, and Stallion's playing this map kind of perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, haven't had any slip-ups so far. Will be spotted on a ward here on this top. Oh, no, that actually just expired. There's a ward, though, here on Void's Trinket, so do they place it? They pretend to place it. Okay, they're walking away. So they stayed there. NA Stallion probably looks for something. Definitely a lot harder to kill this Ornn now that they have the Bomby Cinder. Even has the Cull here, just recognizing, like, hey, I'm going to scale. I can just spell out versus Renekton. So.
And Younglin doing the same thing too. I think going up and picking that Cole up off the first back after he died, like understanding that Sivir's just going to be hard pushing into his lane, so might as well generate some gold off of it while you're at it. So I do like that call coming out from Younglin right there. And looks like he's going towards a Mana Mune.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen this build. I mean, it is a build we have seen Kai'Sa do multiple times in the past. Very cheap way to spike up to that Q evolution. Just takes a bit of time to stack. We haven't seen. Ooh. There's a Dominus pop.
Yeah, and Call the Forge God as well. Void not able to hit the ram back in the other direction. Arthur looking to get a little stun off. He does get to Q, takes a tower shot, but Dominus is expiring, and Stallion first to the Drake.
Mm-hmm. Starting that one on up, has the Scuttle on their side. Joker is in the area, but Joker's also looking in bot here. Since Bondi is ahead as the Sever 201, you're going to have Prio, and Void might be in some danger. Flash is still available for Arthur, does not opt to flash Call the Meek there to try the kill.
I mean, it's really risky taking the flash because he knows that Billow's Breath is still up. So the chances of him not being able to land the stun because he goes unstoppable is really risky. So I do like the patience in not doing the flash stun, because we've seen top laners that'll pull the trigger regardless, just to assert dominance.
Or to make the highlight reel.
Oh yeah, that too.
That too. But I mean, that's gotten this Crocodile here, Arthur. They're up about 2.5 waves. They got 2 plates there. 0-0-1. There should be a decent back here. Part of the pickaxe into longsword. So we're feeling okay. There's the full eclipse. Actually, that's the second legendary item completed in this game, just after Bondu static shift. But also the eclipse does cost more. So.
And we have the next set of Grub Mites on the map. I don't know if Joker's going to be able to get over here to contest this, if he even knows they're on it.
Might have an idea.
I mean, he probably has an idea, but understands that he probably can't contest it. Unfortunately, has to give up all 6 grubs this game.
Yeah. Like, Joker's topside jungle, you see, there's just 3 wards in it right now, and a ward towards the mid lane entrance to the river, so There's no way that buy was sneaking on in without getting detected, and it would have been a 1 versus 3 because your top lane is busy farming under turret a little. Mid lane hasn't completed the Malignance yet, so not exactly in that primo pushing phase. You can see the Voidlings already spawning, even though this Crocodile not in combat with the turret.
Yep, I hate that little aspect about the
It's,
Voidlings. That you get close to it, and they just start popping up.
yeah, if
It's
you
like
get
that's not
close
how
to
that
them,
works.
yeah, it's like some legacy coding thing, I'd assume. Like, just remove that and I'll be happy. Like, they actually have to hit the turret for the Voidlings to spawn.
And even then, you could be like, after you're done hitting it, like the true damage proc will still be going off, and then more Voidlings will pop out. And it's like that shouldn't happen like that. But okay, Riot. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, second Drake spawning here in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And unfortunately, Joker just can't get anything done. He's going to get jumped on right here in his own jungle, flashing out of there, try to get out of there, uses the Vault Breaker to get to the mid lane, but is not going to go down. Huge shielding coming from Karma.
Barely surviving with the help of Demo's shield there. That sucks though, like, because Joker, the only gank they've tried so far was the one where it went 3-1.
Yeah. But I like what Joker's doing. He's not forcing ganks. Like, he understands that he is behind in tempo. He understands that he's behind in like damage and items. So he's trying to just power farm so that he can at least match or get close to matching the damage that Lee Sin has, and is keeping up in CS fairly well.
We have a dive being set up in this bot lane. 4 members coming on through the Praise Seeker spots. These are being done.
They know it's there, but the Twisted Advance is going to come out, and so does the Nature's Grasp, but we have a TP coming here from Void, and Call of the Forge God is going to go out. It's going to hit 3 members there in that bush. Demo is here, late on the rotate, but that flash Q gets 1, gets 2, looking for more. Really nice dredge line, and the Killer Instinct right under Griffin. That Void Seeker's not going to land, but a flash over the wall gets the shutdown, give him 500 gold, and he's looking for the mid laner now.
Ooh, already. Now, that is excellent for the Bing Chillers. Beautiful teleport coming out from Void in that bot lane. It all started because Youngwin popped the Praise Seeker there to just check that brush, saw the Krugs are being done, so you kind of already have an inkling of an idea that there's probably a Lee Sin at the very least weighing in that brush for you. Turns out there's multiple people. Takes too long because they're all focusing Oreo Murderer as the Snarless, who has the Aftershock popped. It's just able to pop that W shield. Such a huge turn on a huge influx of gold also going into Younglin's. Kaisa here finishes the Man Immune, has the Lost Chapter as well. This is also a new Kaisa build for me. The Man Immune to the Lost Chapter. It's gonna be poke heavy, I assume.
I'm not familiar with the build paths of some of the mage items since season 14, so I have no idea what the Lost Chapter is going to build into. But wow, what damage off the Billow's Breath proc right there.
Yeah, that's without a full item. That's just Born things for you. It has enough armor, so it doesn't really take too much in return. And
was that Grasp as well?
Probably.
Yeah, that's gross. That was gross. Wow.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like top laners.
I don't like Ornn.
I love Orange, it's not top laners.
Like, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't be an assassin. That's just me.
Well, you started to say it earlier before I pulled the conversation over to Ornn, but looks like Lane 0 takes second Drake off the table, going towards that dragon stacking. Chemtech is going to be the soul this game, and Herald now on the board. I don't know how I feel about Herald season 14. What about you?
I'm not too hot on it. I mean, it's fine. You can use it to break turrets, but now that plates aren't an option when you get it, it's just a huge deal breaker for me.
So what are you gonna use Herald for? To like open the map, I guess?
Yeah.
Like instead of just dropping Shelly to, you know, draw pressure, let's say mid or bot lane so you can hit an objective, like are you specifically using the Herald to get inside to knock some plates down?
Yeah. Since there's no plates, you just look to grab first
Turrets.
turret with it, or
Turrets.
just grab a free turret on the hunt popped in the bot lane.
Ooh, Bondi getting out of there really quickly, but we have a TP
Teleport.
coming out from Arthur. He's going to pop the Dominus instantly. Joker is able to get out of there, but a flash comes out onto Youngblin. He's going to get stunned up. A really nice Q dices him up. But now Oreo, the murderer, is getting murdered right
the
now.
Resonating Speaker of the wall.
Jumped on top of him. Twisted Advance claims that kill. Meanwhile, Lee Sin able to clean up the jungler there in the river.
Okay, and Big Chillers. Getting a little overzealous there. Going way too far past that turret. I understand the hustle there, but teleport coming out from Arthur there to punish that. And this Vi, only seeing on the Sundered Divine. So not exactly tanky. You have a bit of health, that's it. That's gonna cost them so much here. Lane 0 able to grab those 2 kills, that turret as well. They're now up, what, 2 turrets, 2 dragons, the 6 grubbies.
Yeah.
That is a nice state to be in here as the scaling team.
It is a marvelous state to be in. Like you said, scaling, not only just for the scaling factor, but just the pressure that you can put on the towers from the grub mites, the extra stats you get from the drakes, and it's going to make it really hard for Big Chillers to get back into the game because they're on the back foot right now. So they have to take these fights very smartly at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be a little difficult. It's not insurmountable.
No, by no means.
Yeah. See, Void is level 12, so you're soon gonna get the Ornn items coming through. I don't think many people have items he can upgrade so far, though. Just the Sundered Sky and the Malignance, I believe.
Oh, and Ornn items come on in level 14? Right?
Yeah, I think 13 is when you get your own. 14 is when you can start upgrading the team.
Okay, okay. But he doesn't even have an item to upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, full on Thornmail Rush, so...
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I absolutely get it. A lot of AD damage coming from the side of lane 0. I know you kind of want to sit on the Brambles Vest for a while before finishing off, but this game state, I do get it, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Does kind of feel bad a little, maybe, but definitely helps out for that 1v1 and all the auto techs coming your way. But you definitely would like that Ornn item, since that is about 1,000 gold worth of stats.
I was looking at the item that Youngblin built into with the Lost Chapter. I know what the
Tempest. It's Luden's gun. Luden's companion?
I think that's what it's called, Luden's Companion. Maybe the Twitch chat knows. Maybe they can help me out. Oh, Luden's Companion. Look at that. Thank you, Caddy.
Cool. Yeah, I'm still learning the item. I don't know why they changed Luden's Echo, or it was Luden's Tempest after the Mythic rework.
Yep.
And they're like, you know what? Let's just make it a gun.
I mean, I'm down. I'm for it.
I don't know why. Like, just keep it as Luden's Echo and be like, oh.
I mean,
just keep it as Luden's Echo and give it 3 charges. It's still like fundamentally the same item.
Or even still, Luden's Tempest still would have been great. But we got a for the first time this game, looks like Big Chillers are trying to contest this Drake, trying to stop the dragon stacking, and I like it. Getting that mid lane prio, found their way into the river already. I don't know how they're going to be able to. Let me rephrase. I don't know how they're going to be able to stop lane 0 from entering this, entering the river.
It's going to be tricky. You do now have the double evolution here for Youngblind's Kai'Sa. You've been seeing them spam the Praise Seekers now that it has the 75% refund upon hitting a champion.
I love that.
Like you said, lane 0 able to muscle their way into the river here.
And Demo's doing a really good job of providing that poke with the Mantra Q, and the Malignant's doing a good amount of damage onto these squishy targets. But now lane 0 able to start up the Drake, and Big Chillers are trying to find an avenue in here. Look at Joker, because he's going to be wanting to start this off with that Vault Breaker. And here comes Call the Forge God as well. He's going to be able to hit up multiple members in the back line. Really big wombo combo coming out from Big Chillers, but they are still not going to get put down. Lane 0, they take out 2, they take out 3. The Dominus is spinning, the slice and dice. The ace comes through, and they get the Drake to top it all off.
4-0, and they grab the dragon there with Griffin's ultimate of all things. Right now, they're pathing up towards the Baron. You do have all 5 members here. You do have this 2-item Sivir, so will definitely do damage to this. Biggest concern is you do have some low health bars here, and it is a very early Baron. They did buff Baron this season to be much more tanky very early on, but even with the durability buffs, you can see this thing's just getting shredded with all 5 around.
Yeah, I mean, and considering that not Kai'Sa, but Sivir has Noon Quiver now, so she could just be spamming Q and W kind of on repeat to kind of melt through the Baron as well. Adds to that.
Yep. That is gonna make this so difficult for Big Chillers to come back in, because you're not exactly the scaling team compared to the opposition, and now you're down 8k gold, the Baron, and you have to contest Soul next Dragon. And that's gonna be even harder than last time.
Yep, they are able to get that mid lane turret down, so being able to contest these main objectives is going to be easier with that turret down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna help them, but we'll have to see what they lose here in return, because this is going to be a tough Baron buff to deal with here if you don't have a demo in the area to just spam mantra Qs.
Ooh, that was a lot of damage. The Q from Sivir kind of just hits max range, and I love it when you hit that Q max range, because it just does the initial damage and the return damage simultaneously, and it's just gross.
And that is the first casualty of this Baron buff going on down. All the grubs, too.
From all the teammates, like, oh, it's so obnoxious. They are able to clear out the wave, though, which is good.
Yeah, minions lost their Baron buff.
And so we're just going to 1-0-4. Arthur's going to solo push this top lane while the rest of the team goes down here in the bot lane, which I do like this lane assignment coming out from lane 0.
Yeah, that is one of the classic techniques of Baron. Your top laner has TP. Put them in a different lane so they can TP and join you, and then you have Baron buff in 2 lanes at once. 2 lanes is twice as many Baron buff minions as 1 lane. That's pretty classic.
The math right there, kind of on the nose. Bot lane is gonna fall, so that is another turret down for this Baron buff.
Yeah. And the gold lead hasn't gotten too much higher. You can see the members here backing. It started off at an 8k gold lead, and now it's about the same.
Yeah, about the same. I mean, they're doing a really good job of not holding them off, but like making sure that they don't snowball too crazy with the Baron buff. So I do like that from the side of Big Chill.
Yeah, only losing 2 inner turrets there. Probably good damage control. Could have been a lot worse. Your base still stands, thankfully. None of your inhibitors have gone down.
Or at the risk of going down.
Yeah. Of course, though, with the Baron buff gold, these members have backed. You can see some more power spikes coming through. All the members right now on lane 0 at 2.5 to 3 items, whereas on the opposite side, most members maybe just finishing their 2nd item here. Not Joker. They're still sitting at 1.5 items. That is the tale of being a Vi when you're behind. You just don't really get to do much in the game. You press ulti, you die. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you don't.
So if you're the side of Big Chill right here, getting ready to contest this Drake spawning in 40 seconds, what do you want to be wanting to do?
The usual pushing waves and pushing in vision. I like that they're just clearing out the lane 0 jungle here of any vision. Give them some pry over that. Still got 25 seconds though until that spawns.
Oh, so, and we're just gonna pop on the hunt and run down mid a little bit, trying to force them out of the river. And Arthur kind of just in the top lane by himself, solo pushing that top turret. Void will have to respond to this. Yeah. I like what lane 0 is doing here. They're saying, okay, take the Drake. We will take your base.
Yeah. So even if you get the dragon here, like, if you're trading inhib for your first dragon of the game, that is not good. And even now, it's still getting contested. A little bit of feistiness happening here. Look for the teleport. There's the teleport coming in behind. Arthur has the flank.
And Call of the Forge God is going to go out, but he's not going to be able to hit it up. A really nice flank coming out from Arthur, but Youngling hits the Killer Instinct to get out of that one. He's going to try to jump onto the back line, but unfortunately he's just zoned off from the rest of the team, uses that blast cone to get out of the way, and 3 members of Big Chill kind of on the run at this moment, while Lane Zero claims Drake's Soul.
Ooh, Youngling's dead here.
Twisted Advance is going to go in on him. Demo does stop his back, but Youngling is going to fall in the process. Stallion looking for the mid laner. Demo able to use his fancy feet. Arthur finds the dash, finds the stun, and finds the kill.
Chemtech Rift. Let's go. Yeah, huge flank coming out from Arthur in that fight, just able to instantly hop on the back line there. Youngling in just having to pop that Void Rush to get the hell out of there instantly in that team fight. And with this Kai'Sa build, I mean, really great poke if you're able to just proc the plasma passes on people, but Youngling hasn't really been getting that option too much here. Has been able to land W's, you know, constantly, but hasn't been able to proc the passive, which you've been kind of noticing in these fights here, because it's a more caster Kai'Sa build.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It's very heavy on the magic damage. You can just see right now on lane 0. Remember, kind of getting some MR under their belt. You got Merc Treads, 4 Merc Treads, and Baron's being started up. Being Chi-Lingers, they want to contest this, but it's also just hard.
I mean, I'm always a big fan of the jungler, send the jungler solo, try to get the smite steal, but when you're this far behind, you know, over 10k gold at this point, 12k to be more specific, like, it's really hard to justify a send the jungler in to try to smite steal, because if he goes down, then that's a 5v4 and they have Baron.
Yeah, that is one of the travesties when you're on blue side jungling. If you have to contest Baron alone, it is so hard because it is very easy for them to just kind of watch you casually walk up. Whereas on red side, you know, there's that big wall, so you at least have a little bit of air of mist.
Ooh, going in on the Bondi, pops the on the hunt, doesn't get very far, but Twisted Advance to get out of the Call of the Forge God. Bondi is on a killing spree picking up the ADC. I like the attempt. I love the attempt, actually.
Yeah, I understand why you go for that, but just barely missing out on that kill and not having team to back you up. You're against a brick wall right now. You're against the wall, and you got to do something.
And they're trying to look for it right here, but a Twisted Advance going to go in on to Joker, but he's going to pick up the ADC, drop him back down. Bondi getting a really nice chunk of health, but he is going to get taken out anyway. That is a triple in hit going over to lane 0 now, looking for the Nexus. 2 members now on the retreat, Void and Demo, mid and top. Can they save the base? I don't think they can. They are just going to have to give it. That is game number 1.
And honestly, very solid showing from lane 0 here in this game number 1. Like, it just kind of felt like no matter what, they had Bing Chi-Ling's number across the rift, starting with that very early just counter gank in the bot lane that got him that 3-for-1 here, Hyper. They had complete dominant over all the objectives, only giving up 1 turret there.
Yeah.
Bing Chi-Linger is going to have to go back to the drawing board a little here for the next game if they don't want to get 2-0'd.
And, you know, there's a lot of good takeaways from that game. You know, the failed gank is definitely a mental tilter, but they were able to still get another counter gank off of a 4-man dive and come out on top. Did really good job contesting that last Drake fight for Soul, but just unfortunately got slapped by lane 0's wallet. So, you know, I mean, when you get slapped with the wallet, you can have all the hands in the world, but it's not going to help. But looking over at the damage graph real fast, we can see Arthur absolutely put on a showing, had an insane flank during that Soul fight, able to top the damage charts. Woo! And the next closest person coming in is Youngling, but I'm gonna give that to Void Seeker spam. So that's a little inflated.
The graph also just shows like Joker did not have a good time this game as Vibe. had the counter pick there, although you don't traditionally counter pick too hard in the jungle, but still, you had your pick there, but you can definitely feel the jungle pool being pinched there after so many bans were being thrown their way, and just struggled to get much of anything done on the Vi, where was just kind of called out on the few early game attempts they made, and into the game with 3.1k damage just kind of goes to show this Vi really just shut down.
Yep, shut down indeed. Lane 0 coming into this week off of a fresh 2-0, looking to make it a 2-0 this week. But if Big Chillers have anything to say about it, it'll be in game number 2. So we will take a short little break and we will see you then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2. We are going to have a side swap. Lane 0, Maelstrom taking up blue side with Big Chillers on the red. Same first bands coming out with the Belveth and the Viego. I don't anticipate to see much of a change up from last game, but if you're the side of Big Chillers, maybe drop the Leona and go for like the Malphite, since you aren't going to be picking on blue side, but that is just me.
Yeah. Might also just okay.
Oh, you know what? Lane 0 is going to ban the Malphite. All right. That works.
Wonder if we see the Karma ban here from the Bing Steelers, because Karma is still strong. Didn't have the best showing last game, but that was also partially because Bing Chillers just kind of fell behind and weren't able to do too much from the start of the game. We'll see what adaptations there are. Okay, there's the Karma. That's not too surprising. Like, that champion's just kind of really good in pro and 5v5 and even solo queue. Like, you just kind of AFK in lane, mantra Q. Oh, hey, let me help with Dragon, mantra Q.
I do like the Smolder ban, the Smolder hover, shall I say. But if I was Lane 0, I probably would have gone for a different ban there. Kind of forced being Big Chill to ban the Smolder, since they are going to be picking red side. And Smolder, this with his little mini tweak, with his the way his abilities work, that tweak that he got last patch, is definitely a better carry than he was before the tweak. I do like the way it feels now. I don't know if you played it, Go Farino.
I've only played like one co-op versus AI with Game S Smolder, like ready to see release just to test him out. That's because my client was being big. It wasn't letting me actually queue for regular games. I don't know why. It's a weird bug, but
I love that.
I can see why it feels nice, but also the champion is also kind of overtuned. Senna, he's left open.
We do have a Senna hover. Gonna get locked in. One of the more high priority picks this patch, this season, and even right now in Masters, picked up 8 times last week. That's a lot. That's a lot considering. Now the question is, are we gonna send that traditional ADC, or are we gonna do fasting Senna?
Yeah, because we've been seeing both in pro play.
Yeah, both are really good too. That's the thing. There's and gonna instantly get locked in with the Varus, another high contested pick in the ADC role. Also picked up 8 times last week. That's disgusting. But Varus, just like Senna, really good into those 5v5 comps. Gonna get paired up nicely with that Rel. I love the Varus Rel combination. But if you are gonna go fasting Senna, what kind of tank are you gonna want to go?
So seeing Varus Rel, if you want to, you can go for the Tahm Kench, because the Gobble Up is just so good. The Chains of Corruption come up, Gobble on up. The Magnet Storm comes out, you get caught in it, but you can gobble up the Senate as well. Grass being hovered has been a much higher prio pick this patch as well. Mostly in the top lane. I think we've seen a little bit in the jungle. Mumu, we did see this in Risen last weekend.
That is an interesting flex.
No.
Switch it up.
Okay.
We're hovering a lot.
Okay,
I'm thinking this might be a jungle pick because of the champs we just hovered. But I do like the Wukong if they decide to lock it in. His rework, not his rework, but his buff from patch was super good, so strong. But that is going to be the 80s. Oh, well, it's still a flex. The top lane and the jungler are going to be locked in for lane 0. Gragas going to be going into that top lane. One of Arthur's better champs has a really high win rate on it and can put out some numbers. Do like the Orianna hover though. Definitely does provide that engage and counter engage. But the way on the other hand.
I mean,
I like the way. I like the way.
Yeah, strong scaling laner. Because especially if it's lethality Varus, you're going to want something that scales in another lane here. I'm assuming it's lethality Varus to put the pressure on Senna. We'll see how the rest of this draft goes.
I really hope it's not lethality Varus.
Yeah.
I just think the on-hit Varus is so much better. Honestly, it just hits so much harder than the lethality Varus. And when we get to late game, it just does so much work. But we are going to have Ahri banned off, which I think is a way counter, right? I'm not
entirely sure on what way counters are.
I like a strong mid laner ban. It's a strong mid laner.
Yeah, I haven't read enough into the champion to actually know.
I do like the game in though.
Yeah, just bang out more mid laners here.
I mean, it's the safe route because you know they still have to lock in that mid lane. Whereas last game they kind of targeted the support, not realizing that Maokai was going to be support. Since Maokai did get buffed where he does more damage to monsters. With I think his Q does more damage to monsters.
Yeah.
So I can understand why they thought he was going to go into the jungle. But unfortunately, wasted their bans, which does suck.
See what the R4 is here. I'm assuming it's going to be jungle or support. If that is rel jungle, or if it is rel support, I don't think it's something you really want to keep in the dark. Yeah, just keep that top lane R5 here in case there's any funny business with this Gragas.
Okay, I was like, Yuumi, really? I do like the Lulu a whole lot better. The Yuumi there kind of scared me. The Taric, though, on the other hand, good Taric players are terrifying, by the way.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Double range bot lane.
Okay, All-Star.
We're good. We're good with that.
It's gonna be farming Senna then.
Yeah, it is. But Brash on the All-Star is actually pretty nuts. Also, one of his better champions. Aurelian Soul Hover, really good late game. I do like the Aurelian Soul, kind of adds out.
That'd be flexing on some hoes.
That's a little bit of a flex.
I mean, you do have some really good knockups to set you up here. There is the cat. Okay, that's something we haven't been seeing as much. Definitely a battle of the emo in the mid lane here.
Yes, but the Vex buff does make her a better champion, bringing her up like in viability. Because before that buff, it was just like, why am I picking Vex for CC when I can do the exact same thing with a different champion? But now Vex, like her kit actually like synergizes really nicely with her with itself. So I do like the Vex pickup. And we're going to have the Urgot locked in for the top lane. So the Urgot versus the Gragas. That is definitely a skill matchup if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I feel like the Gragas just doesn't really have to interact, though. Like, one of the reasons why the Gragas top is so strong is that you can flex it into either the tankier build with some AP or... Wait.
Bless you. I bless you again.
Oh, Lord. No! You can either go the tankier build with some AP
can't get no more sneezes.
Yeah. Or you can just go the full AP build. Either way, though, you just don't really have to interact with the lane as Gragas. You're so safe. You have the Happy Hour passive sustain. You have the Body Slam to get out. Your barrel is just so nice for farming waves, even though it isn't the best wave clear tool. It just helps you season them up, more or less. And that can be very handy against the Urgot, who does want to just kind of hop onto you with the... I think it's Purge. I think Purge is Urgot's... Either Purge is the Urgot Q or the Urgot E. I forget.
I think it's the E.
Yeah, I know Fear Beyond Death is the ultimate, and then everybody just does shotgun these.
That is such a good name for an ultimate. There are some champs with some like really, really good ultimate names. Like Thresh
old name. Oof.
Thresh is just the box.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It is a box you get put in. The older got ultimate, the hyper conductive position. I forget. It was like a mouthful, but it's like it's kind of cool.
I mean, even she's not in the game, but Briar's ultimate is death sentence. Like that is so good because it's a death sentence for Briar or it's a death sentence for the person she hits.
Yeah, that's why me and my friends call it the waiter button, because either it's waiter you're feeding them or waiter you're eating them. So every time we just ulti as her, we go waiter.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Fun. But no Briars in this game. I'm curious to see how the jungle matchup works, though. I know I said that last game, but it is the first time I've actually seen Rek'Sai in like a hot minute. Like the last time we saw Rek'Sai meta was when her numbers were overturned, like shortly after her mid scope, where they removed the farm alarm ultimate, I believe.
That's like season 7, right?
I believe so.
I'm only saying that because I've only been around since season 10, but every time I hear somebody talk about Rek'Sai, they always complain about season 7 for some reason.
Yeah, so basically our old ultimate was you could just teleport to any one of your tunnels on the map.
Huh? Excuse me?
Yeah. It sounds really good in practice, in theory, but in practice, people called it the farm alarm for a reason. Like you just use it to get tempo across the map, and it was so heavily pro skewed.
I mean, you can find some insane flanks with that too.
You could, but you'd have to have like a tunnel behind enemy lines, and then they kind of hear the global sound, and it's
Ew.
just a lot of setup. Like if you already have a tunnel behind enemy lines, why aren't you just kind of ganking them now and in a
Yeah.
solo queue environment, you know? But either way,
Yeah,
though, still
I
a
can
great
see it.
early game jungle ganker, just due to how the tunnels work. It gives you a lot of flexible paths when it comes to ganking,
Yes,
because
and
you can go over
considering the
walls.
map changes too.
Yeah, you can
So
use that to, you know.
I mean, yeah, you have different avenues even now with season 14, but with those different avenues, I imagine Rek'Sai's tunnels make it even worse
Mhm.
when finding angles for ganks, especially on the bot side of the map. Now that you have those two alcoves for both red and blue side.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Yeah.
so now that you're talking about it, I'm kind of curious how the jungle matchup's gonna go now too.
Yeah, because Lane Zero's composition, they definitely want to get ahead early. I mean, neither of these compositions is like the super late game hyper scaling comp, but Lane Zero, you have a Senna and Vex for damage. And then if Gragas opts in for damage, that's gonna fall off as the game goes on. So you definitely want to end it sooner rather than later. And if they keep up the same early game macro and objective control they had last game, I do have faith in Lane Zero to pilot this. And technically speaking, Senna is a very hyperscaling champion. You just need to wait a long time.
Yeah, and you got to be able to farm your souls efficiently too.
Yeah, like
In order
three and
to
a
in order
half
to do
to
that.
4 items. Even as farming Senna, that's usually when you hit the soul breakpoint, and it's like, okay, you can actually like be a carry now. Whereas before then, it's like you're kind of just auto Q auto. You can get some chunky, have some nice utility for your team.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
But I mean, Lane Zero kind of wants to get out on the map fast and hurry and
Mhm.
try to snowball the game as quickly as possible, because that's where their champs kind of thrive. But for the side of Big Chillers, they have Varus and they have the way to scale up to that late game. Because when Varus gets, if let's say we get to that 30-35 minute mark, Varus and Wei are just going to be able to pump out damage. And if Varus is going the on hit build, which I hope he is, considering he's looking at 3 tanks, he's going to be able to shred through that front line pretty fast. And not a lot of them have a lot of escape options, so the Chains of Corruption is really going to play into those team fights as well.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how Lane Zero gets through a 2 to 3 item Urgot in these team fights if they're not massively ahead.
Oh yes, that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think does Urgot still want to rush Black Cleaver? Because I know he was rushing it last season, but with the new items coming in, I don't know if he still wants to.
Urgot? I don't know.
Or maybe it's just like my bronze elo Urgot.
I don't know. I know last season was kind of also all about the Titanic Hydra, but there's one Reddit post from an Urgot main who said, "Stop buying Titanic Hydra. It's trolling Urgot."
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't see enough Urgot.
I guess we will have to see, because we are going to get into game here very shortly. Hopefully everybody has taken their bathroom break and we won't have to sit through the pause screen.
Yeah.
But in case we don't, please enjoy the music, enjoy the tunes, and we will be right back for game number 2.
Keep moving on. Keep moving on. And they say I have a grim sense of humor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3, Zero Lane. Oh, wait, did I say that wrong? No, Lane Zero. Lane Zero. I had it backwards. Lane Zero Maelstrom up 1 game against the Big Chillers. Going for a 5-point stand. Big Chillers looking for a late game scaling composition to carry this game to a 3-game series, whereas Lane Zero looking to close this one out rather quickly. What should we see from this jungle pressure? If I can talk. Jungle pressure. Wow.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's level 1, so not a lot of jungle pressure right now. But we'll probably see, after level 3, after these junglers have cleared at least 3 camps if they want to go for a really aggressive gank. If they want to go for the ultra aggressive gank, you just clear 1 or 2 camps to gank, but we haven't seen that in a while. Either way, though, I expect some early shenanigans coming out from these junglers. That's some pretty gankable lanes here. I mean, mid laners, they both have CC to set for the junglers, and both are immobile. Both the ADCs pretty immobile themselves, and you have tank supports to help you set up, so we could see some action there.
And just to pull a little attention, it is not going to be fasting Senna. This is going to be traditional ADC Senna, which is still really strong. Like, you can go either way, just depending on the lane, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, though, saying traditional ADC Senna when, like, traditionally, she's more of the fasting champion. Although, if you want to really go deep dive, she was originally designed to be, like, a support.
Was she really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. Like she's got a heal, she's got CC.
Well, not even just that. Just, like, the lore itself, like, Lucian Senna, like, that would be the lane combination, but, Big Chiller's taking advantage of that level 2 spike right there. Getting a really nice piece of damage off.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, sadly, the kits of Lucian Senna kind of don't synergize too well in lane. Senna definitely wants to go for early trades, but, not so much the extended ones that Lucian wants to go for, and Lucian wants someone else to kind of buff him up, and the piercing darkness Q from Senna. Decently long cooldown early on.
Oh my god.
Shout outs to the Nameless Org for giving us a raid there. Howdy ho.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Nice of you to join. But I mean, you mentioned the long cooldown on Senna's Q, but if you think about it, if you just auto, it comes off cooldown quicker.
Yeah. If you just auto.
I mean, you got to be able to auto.
Yeah. It's not always possible.
And you also just don't want to be like spamming auto, but Joker looking for a lane gank right here.
Just has to land Wind Becomes Lightning here. Waiting for the push up.
Brash is going to be the one to step in. Joker's going to jump right back on. Headbutt. Really nice root, but a flash forward coming from Joker. And first blood with that piercing arrow finds its target.
Stallion is looking.
Has come up here, finds a two-man knockup. Youngblood forcing Youngling flashing over the wall. Not going to get
the fadeaway
right there, but Joker also in retreat, very low health as well. Stallion going to use that Sweeper's Ward to find the other low health members. Doesn't find the low health members. Going to find a stun and find a kill. That is 2 kills in favor of Big Chill.
And this time the early game gank from Joker works out. Their patience pays dividends. Just waiting in that brush for so long. Youngling has to be careful here. Thankfully, there is no flash here on the Alistar for Brash, so you don't really have to worry about flash headbutt pull. But still, you are low, you are going to be pushed under turret, so it is going to suck here as this fares. Even though you're 2-0, you can't really back and use that advantage just yet. So let's see how lane 0 makes use of this temporary advantage.
Ooh, Void and Arthur going for a really heavy trade. The shotgun knees expired, but meanwhile in the bot lane, we're going to have another heavy trade. Youngling getting a really good chunk of damage off that stun that Oreo gave onto Brash.
Oh, look for the Yodi in the top lane here. We got a Rek'Sai coming in hot here from Stallion.
But we do have some more.
Finishes it. Oh, they get the Yodi.
They do get the kill onto the top lane, but direct to camera was kind of focused there in the bot lane for some reason. Direct to camera, what is going on with you? Like all of Riot's items in this client, it works perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time director's cam is like fine. Like, especially if you're just watching like a solo queue game your friend's playing, it's like, you know, it's fine. But great pickup there in the top lane. Stallion able to get that fade away there. And it also nets them the grubs here, it looks like. Okay, they nabbed 1.
Joker was able to claim at least 2, forcing Stallion off. Looks like Joker and Void are going to get collapsed on. Ultimate coming out from Vex. They're going to finish the jungle off very swiftly. Void now the target. He's going to get pinched by 3 members. But Demo on his way up from the mid lane, not able to support him. A double kill going over to the top laner. And Demo just has to retreat for now. Really good intuition coming from the side of lane 0 right there.
Yeah, just collapsing to help out their homies there. We saw the initial collapse from Bing chilling there. Just going like, hey, you're on the Void Grubs. We're going to contest that. They do grab 1 for their troubles there. However, they also lose 2 members there off the back end of that play. Still come out on the negative side in grub count. So better luck next time. Hex Flash being channeled in mid lane by Brash.
I mean, that is, he does find the headbutt, gets the knockup, gets the stun, decent amount of damage down. But what I was going to say is at least they got 1 grub. That's 1 more than they had last game.
Yeah, dive in the bot lane, this should be pretty easy.
Fairly easy. The Ignite taking down, the stun goes down as well. The slow, and Youngling finds the piercing arrow to kill. I was going to say Bodhi. There's my country roots coming through right there. Bondi in the bot lane.
Yeah, so 3-0 on this Varus. Working up towards that Bork here. Should be finishing soon, considering you already have the Vamp Scepter and the Recurve bow here. Maybe not on this back, but could be pretty damn close. Still, that's you another kill in the bot lane. It's going to net you your first dragon here as well. So you're going to be happy to have that little bit of extra scaling oomph from this Infernal Dragon. Gonna lose your top side though for your troubles.
Matt Stallion ticking over to level 6 as well, but Big Chill definitely playing this map a whole lot better than they were last game.
That was Rek'Sai just routing up towards the top side.
Oh, Hex Flash gonna get channeled. Really nice stun. The knockup gonna go down too. Bondi is trying to get away, but he falls right into the trap that they set up. Meanwhile, the top lane, the Void is just gonna get jumped on by that top lane gank. Stallion claiming that kill.
Beautiful interrupt by Stallion there with the Unbarrow to stop the Urgot dash there. 1 for 1 across the map. Now there's Varus 4-0. I believe that should be Borg on this recall here. That's going to be scared to do with. So it's going to be a battle of opposite sides of the map right now because 4-1 top side here for lane 0, whereas on the bot side you have this 4-0 Varus already getting a plate for themselves as well. This has to be Borg on this back.
I imagine it is.
Oh,
I don't see a world where it's not.
just his void build, by the way. The Negatron cloak into another null magic mantle. Homie's rocking like plus 65 MR right now.
He's just trying to survive that lane at the moment. And I mean, I understand he's down 0-3 to a 2-0 Gragas. Already has the blasting wand in the inventory. So if the barrels weren't hitting hard before, they're definitely hitting a little harder now.
Yeah. Oh, and it's going to be the Roa too, so not the burstiest Gragas coming out, I'm guessing. I'm guessing based off the Roa. I don't know. Gragas builds can go so many directions.
I was just anticipating it going to the late game. Wasn't able to pick up the Bork, but he does pick up those tier 2 boots. I still think that's a really good pickup. Does get the slow down. Joker is on his way down. They don't find the angle and are just going to back off.
Alrighty. Younglin is half health though. Gonna have to use his Vamp Scepter to heal off the minions here because we have 4 members of lane 0 here on this bot side. Looking for a dive. You just have Joker right now.
They do find a really good flash coming out of Younglin to get away from that kill. Meanwhile, on the top side, we do have a little bit of trading going on. I do like lane 0. Oh, really good barrel onto Void, chunking him out, forcing the flash, flashing under tower. Barrel doing a little bit of work as well, but back to what I was going to say, I do like... Oh my goodness, they're not going to let me talk. Demo going to get jumped on by Stallion right there. Does find the move speed in that E, but Griffin is just going to auto him down. The ultimate coming out of Stallion finds Demo and takes him out, taking the Demo to a beta.
Ooh, and perfect timing too for the grubbies here. It looks like those just spawning on up. You have the advantage in the top side, you even have Brash walking on up here to help you. Joker is in the area to contest and does have a ward here in the pit, but just does not have the homies to back him up. Demo just died. Void had to back there. So you are going to be having to give up 5 grubbies here this game unless you get some miracle steal over the wall with the wind becomes lightning. But not even that being attempted, so yeah, this top side really suffering right now. Or being chilling. Gonna have to really just hard depend on Youngling to pop off in this game, and to their credit, I mean 4-0. We're able to deal with the pressure that came with that dive earlier, but now you don't have flash this time around. Much more vulnerable, and you do still have that huge target on your back.
I would go as far as to say a massive target. But no, so what I was trying to get at earlier is you see we barely missed it on the bot dive, but you can see it in the kind of like the replay almost, the aftermath. But Vex tries to go in onto Younglin, not able to get gets the stun off, and Younglin able to flash out of Senna's ultimate was super fortunate in that situation. Does not give over the shutdown, and on top of that, because they don't take out the Varus, lane 0 are kind of forced to withdraw from the rest of that dive.
Yeah, you don't want to overcommit there. They also saw that Joker was in the area. Maybe if it's 4 versus 2, you still had the Glooming Darkness or Glooming Shadow. I forget the name of Vex ultimate. Either way, though, Dragon's up soon. A bit of feistiness being set up in this bot lane as it seems like everybody's in the area.
8 seconds till Drake, and if you look at the top side of your screen right now, Demo's on his way down, trying to add a little bit of pressure onto lane 0 right now. Big Chill trying to find their way into the river from the north side of there. They're gonna be able to catch out Griffin right here. The wind does become lightning. They do get the knock up, they get the stun, and they find the burst to get the kill.
Alrighty. It should be Dragon here, aside from a good steal coming on out. You can look to contest. It'd just be really hard here because your damage to contest is a 0-2 Senna and a 3-1 Rek'Sai. That's gone. Okay, you get the knock up here. Look for something. Chains of Corruption does hit.
Oh, the root does land onto Younglin right now. Outstar's going to try to zone him off, but we have a TP coming out from Arthur. Barrel does not hit. Younglin pops the ghost, tries to get out of there. Griffin now jumping onto the ADC. Does find the shutdown. Joker now getting pinched by the jungler in the ADC. And Bondi finds that kill. Meanwhile, we have a 3v5. here into this bot lane tower. Stallion trying to get a little fancy, does get the knockup, does get stunned up. Demo laying down the damage. Void trying to just zone off the rest of the team, trying to keep the tanks at bay. But now he tries to retreat under his tower. He's going to get 5-man dove. His health bar is annihilated. Stallion picks that kill up. Meanwhile, Shutdown goes right over to Demo, and we have a fight for our lives. If you are Big Chill, Oreo murder has just been murdered, and now they're looking for the 5th member, and they just secured it. Demo finds a really nice flash under turret, but Griffin securing that kill. Like, went on so long, Joker respawn.
I think Joker dies here.
He definitely does. Arthur does find the kill, but Younglin now back on the map is trying to find the damage. Does not find the damage. Execute going on to Brash right there. Really unfortunate if you're Big Chill, but what a play. What a fight all around.
Yeah, I think in total that was a 6-for-1 there.
If we count Joker showing up, I think that's a 6-for-1, yeah.
Yeah, and they get that shutdown that was on Younglin there. That is absolutely huge here. Because you got that shutdown, and you stop all this momentum in the bot lane. And you can just look to control the map here.
Not even just in the bot lane. You kind of slow the momentum down across the board. In the mid lane as well, and kind of just continue to push the top lane further back.
Yeah, 0-4-1. You still haven't finished your first item here as a Zergot. You're sitting on the Negatron and a Spectre's Cowl. Like, okay, there's the Canix. So that's gonna help you a ton in this matchup. But at the same time, you're gonna have 0 damage.
Hex Flash getting channeled by Oreo, but he's gonna get knocked back right in the center. Does find the knockup on to Brash right there. Really good damage coming out from Younglin. Chains of Corruption is gonna land, but Brash follows up with his ultimate. Bondi not able to get touched right there in that engage. And first turret dropping to the side of lane 0.
Yeah, even though you got the shutdown on this Varus and it stops a lot of the momentum that they had on the bot side, it's still a 1-2 Senna here. So you're going to get absolutely just clapped in the 2v2. Of course, though, don't really give up too much for this. You know, that's not first turret. You're grabbing Rift Herald on the opposite side. You can look to just break open this map even more and make it a net positive for you if you get a good Rift Herald down.
And considering where the gold lead was in that early game, it's definitely shifted over to the side of lane 0 after that kind of 6-man fight that they had in the bot lane, shifting the balance over into their favor. Kind of almost up 4K here in this mid game. What should we see, or what should you expect, rather, if you're Big Chill to try to gain your tempo back?
Look to just make action happen here around this Youngling Varus. Like, that's the person on your team doing damage right now. Demo still scaling up on that tier, working towards their second item. And if you can just get some of these shutdowns here, I say there's only 2 shutdowns, but that 500 ult shutdown on Arthur right now is just juicy. Hold that thought, because Void and a hold keep the danger here.
Yeah, but he's not going to go down as easily as he has been. That item definitely adding to his tankiness, but Stallion shows up to the fight and kind of just annihilates him. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we had a fight brewing and going down. Vex comes out of nowhere, does find the kill. Griffin picks up 1, and now it is just Brash versus the world. That ability is not going to land from the side of Demo. Arthur has joined the fight. Stallion is here now as well from the north side of the river, and they are just going to be able to pinch off Joker. Lane 0's map awareness coming through right there to salvage that mid lane play that they were losing.
Yeah. And you're able to kill Youngling's Varus again here. So now 5-2 after being 4-0. Worrying trend here. That's also right before the dragon pops up. Yes, Joker will be back up in time for this. And yes, if they path Requiem base to this dragon, they might be able to contest it. But you're not really in a position to contest it right now. Because you don't really have the damage to get through a lot of these members. This Gragas 505 just way too damn big. Has all the haste in the world with that completed completed helmet there and the lucidity boots. It's gonna let him just spam that body slam.
Well, I mean, They might not have the damage to contest this Drake, but they definitely got the River Prio right there. Lane Zero trying their hardest to try to get in, but they're just going to opt to get into the Herald right there. Arthur is going to drive that straight into the mid lane turret. They're going to have to burst down this Drake if they want to take it. Void is going to get rooted up by Bondi. Drake is going to reset. I don't know if Big Chill decides they're going to reset, but Hex Flash getting channeled by one murder, and the Magnum Storm is going to come through. That big barrel is going to hit 4 members. Bondi takes out Younglin, and the ultimates coming from both mid laners do a lot of damage to both sides of the team. Double kill going over to Bondi now. They are looking over at Demo. Griffin and Stallion see him, eyes in the target, but not going to pursue much further. Just going to take their Drake and walk away.
Yep, and
Void gonna get jumped on.
Don't take the dragon just yet. But stopping the dragon stacking is huge there. Great start to the fight there by Lane Zero to just absolutely counter the start coming on out. You get the beautiful just bop up on the back line there. Double knock up into the casket into your back line. Younglin just did not get to play League of Legends.
No, he did not.
Yeah.
Got hit by the casket, and then a Q from Bondi takes him out of the match.
And you can see the ejected bounties coming out right now. Things looking kind of doomed. This isn't Omega Doomer lead territory, but things are pretty bad at this point here if you're being chilling, and you really just need to find more footing in this game. Find a pick, find a shutdown here on one of these members. There's 3 shutdowns to be picked up of varying levels of monetary worth, and just stabilize here.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think the big, really nice cask into Demo right there. Arthur kind of just showing that he has the damage to kind of 1v1 anybody he wants, but over here on the red side River, Joker's going to get pinched out. Younglin on the back line able to deal a lot of damage, not going to be able to get touched. Arthur finds his way into the fight. Oreo falls down in the process, but Griffin tries to get onto the ADC, takes out the jungler instead, does find the ADC with the fade away, but what an ultimate coming out from Urgot, takes out the mid laner, able to salvage something out of that engage.
Yeah, but at what cost? Hex Flash over the wall with the slow from that piercing light. Yeah, this should be a
knock up onto Void. Both the top laner and the mid laner are now rooted in position. Luckily, they are underneath their mid lane turret, going to be able to have a little bit of safety for the time being. But as Oreo makes his way over to the fight, gonna back off Lane Zero right here.
Yeah, you don't have your top laner there, and you already took a huge dub from that fight there. I mean, you're able to grab a turret, you're able to grab 3 kills. Yeah, poor Joker. Getting treated like a second-class citizen. Like, this is like one of the worst feelings as jungler. Like, when you fall behind as jungler, you just do not get to play the game, it feels like. Like, can I farm my jungle? No, the enemy team has completely cleared it out already, 10 times over. And if I take 2 steps past my Gromp, I die.
Or not even that, your fed carry on your team, be it the mid laner or the ADC, is clearing out your jungle.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
it's like a lose-lose situation there.
Yeah. Yeah, someone who spammed a ton of fill this year in ranked. I get jungle
that was a really
the most out of any role.
Like,
and when you fall behind his jungle, it just feels bad. Well, fall behind when your team falls behind his jungle. If you fall behind his jungle, but your laners are ahead, you can still just farm your camps.
Yeah, you're right. But with Baron on the map, Lane Zero is adding a lot of pressure. They're going to have a TP coming out from Arthur with an ultimate coming from Griffin, able to get into the back line. They don't find Youngling, but they find Oreo, burst him out, but a shutdown going right over to Varus. Uses that flash to get out of Arthur's grasp, but the Casket's going to be able to secure that kill. They're going to jump right over onto Void. Oreo goes down, double kill going over to Arthur. Void is the next target, and that is a triple for the top laner.
Yep. 3 for 1 there. This should just be an easy Baron pickup here. You don't have the fastest Baron take, so there is a very faint chance maybe Joker gets up in time here, but I really just doubt they'll be able to get here in time, especially with Brash playing Puppy Guard here in the enemy jungle. Oh, Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gatekeeper at this point. Make sure nobody gets over to the Baron. They don't have these quickest Baron take for sure. Yeah, I know I had like a trailing sentence there where I wanted to say something else, but I had nothing else to say. That was the sentence.
Yeah, it's just a bad place to be in right now if you're being chilling. Like, you had the Bears who's 4-0, now 6-5 because every fight they just got hard focused.
Picking up that second item on the Kraken Slayer. I do like the Kraken Slayer pickup. I would have still preferred them to finish the Gensus personally, just because it does so much damage. But I understand the Kraken. I do understand why you're picking it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just feels bad.
It feels awful. Like, at least now Demo has 2.5 items here. So Demo will at least do some damage here.
Yeah, especially since he has that Void Scepter in his pocket. Gonna be able to deal with the tanks a lot easier than he has been previously in the game. They do find the stun. Not much gonna come out of that. But if you look at the bottom side of your screen, Stallion's looking for an avenue. And Casket is off cooldown, so that's what they are looking for right now. They do find a good chunk of damage on a Youngling right there. He is going to get rooted up, almost taken out, but the Casket goes live. Arthur is legendary. Griffin does find a kill as well. Bonnie gets a piece of that action. Now they got 3 more members. Void still full health. Oreo trying to keep the rest of the team at bay, but Void is just 1v1ing Arthur, and Happy Hour just keeping him alive. The rest of the team shows up, and Griffin slays the Void Master. The top laner is down, and it is now the support and the mid laner to try to stop their base from getting destroyed.
Poor Youngling there, like, they just got hit with things from a screen and a half away and could do nothing. This should be the end game push here. You still got Baron. That's one Nexus turret about to fall down here. There's only 2 members left on the enemy team. Make that 3. Members are respawning here, but
Youngling
you got
is
the
back.
Nexus in your sights here.
Youngling is back up. The chain winds become lightning. Do not hit. They do not hit. But if you're lane 0, your entire team hits the ADC, and he falls. And now it is just Demo to watch his inhibitor go down in flames. Void does spawn in time to watch the defeat screen pop up for game number 2.
Yep, and another dominant showing here from line 0. The bot side definitely had some shakiness there thanks to that early gank coming out from Joker, getting Youngling and Oreo Murderer very far ahead in that lane, but we just saw the top side really just cascaded over to the rest of the map, and Stallion able to just kind of command at least the late game objectives this time around on the grubbies.
Absolutely incredible performance on the back of the top laner for lane 0, Arthur, going 11-0-11. That is some insane stats. And I imagine if we looked at the damage charts, those damage, the damage numbers would speak volumes to his KDA. And look, there it is. Barely outbeating Wei in terms of damage by like an auto, but still 11-0-11. That is insane. A part of almost over half the kills on their team. And even though his bot side of the map was behind, Stallion and Arthur are able to capitalize on the lead he already had in the top lane, able to secure 5 grub mites and kind of just shove his lead down the throat of Big Chill. And it just was really hard for Youngling to respond to that going into the mid to late game when he sees this 11-0 top laner staring down his face. Like, that's scary in any scenario.
Yeah, like, it just sucks to deal with here as Youngling. Like, what do you do? It's like, oh, one stray cask hits me for like half my health. Oh, that bounces me into the enemy. Oh, I'm dead. Like,
check that
every
out.
single fight.
Just a game of ping pong, if you would. Alistar knock up, headbutt, cast. Oh, now I've been rooted. Oh, look, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Just the CC that they were able to layer down onto Youngling and their target too. The target selection coming out from lane 0 was kind of impeccable. Because Wow, I'm blanking on the mid. Griffin, Griffin, as soon as his ultimate's up, he's not aiming for anybody other than Younglin, and if he
Yeah.
doesn't hit him, he doesn't go in.
Yeah.
But if Younglin is in the area, we saw it during the fourth Drake fight. Younglin, Oreo was hit by Griffin's ultimate. Griffin flies on in, does get the fear rough. Younglin forced to flash out of there, but now half health, can't really participate in the fight. So Griffin doing his job the way he needed to do does fall down, but his team still claims 3 in process. So, Lane Zero putting on a magnificent performance there in game number 2.
Yeah, another 2-0 for them. So they're 4-0 in the regular season right now, and they're 2-0. Definitely looking like the team to take down here if you're in this group.
And definitely looking like a solid team in general. Really, really high tempo playing from all the players. I love to see it. Do you have anything else before we close the night off?
No, just shout outs to our viewers here, shout outs to our production crew, and shout outs to Blue Otter and its sponsors.
Oh, look at that. He's hitting all the buttons. Appreciate all of you guys for coming out and watching Blue Otter tonight. Appreciate Caddy behind the camera. You're amazing as always. And always thank you, Blue Otter, for allowing me and Go Farino yell into our screens at night, because that's always fun to do. I enjoy doing it. That'll do it for us this week. Stay tuned. We have Blue Otter League matches all week, ranging from gold all the way to plat, 8 p.m. Eastern every single day. So come here, check it out. You will see the two of us next week for Masters Monday. Everybody take care.